Here we are again. City are an incredibly unserious side, aren't they? We've just beat Fulham 5-4. How do you even start to analyse that? I think all you can do really is broad conclusions. Not conclusions, broad, I guess broad strokes, really. I can't conclude anything. I guess you can. We're just not a very serious side, if even being honest. That was an absolutely mental game of football from a side that is, I guess if you're a neutral, incredibly entertaining right now. Good value if you everyone else. I mean, it doesn't feel like a loss for me. Yusuf's in the chat saying it feels like a loss. It doesn't feel like a loss. We won. And I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I can just, I guess, admit that we are serious. That's the way I can put it. My quick summary: lots of talent, little spine. That's it. We are going to need surgery still. That is the top line conclusion. And the talent is obvious. We can play some beautiful football, score a whole bunch of goals. The spine ain't there. We can't defend it. We don't know how to react to it, any adversity. We don't know how to defend. We have no killer mentality. Loads of ability. Right? Obviously, they can play nice football. They can do some lovely attacking stuff. Low spine. And the surgery is obviously going to come. That is the simple top line. We can't handle a fight. We absolutely can't. We fucking lose our... We literally just... It's Keystone Cop stuff. I literally can hear the Benny Hill music. It's ridiculous. Wait, look. I guess I could sit here and rant and be angry and all that kind of stuff. And I don't feel angry after this. I feel just like pity. Maybe pity's the word. I've made my peace of where we are. We are. It's a weird game of football. I saw some people say that Fulham would, they scored 4 goals of incredibly high quality goals, and they were great finishes, and maybe they wouldn't do that another day. I would buy that if this was a one-off. If this was just in a bubble, this game. And I saw a friend of mine of the channel Sky Blue Times, Bailey, saying it was in a bubble. I would agree with the bubble analogy if this wasn't incredibly common. This is common. This City side do this all the time. Worryingly for me, I'm starting to see signs of last season. Last season where we had no bottle. And the players could not maintain games. They could not, we've won. We've won, absolutely. And we've obviously got young talent and all that kind of stuff when you play really exciting football. But I'm starting to see signs of the heads going, a lack of focus and a lack of control. And you can make 2 conclusions. You can make 3 conclusions, actually. The one conclusion could be that the players aren't good enough. The second conclusion is that Pep can't get it out of the players anymore. Pep can't get, maybe he's not ruthless enough. And the third conclusion is that it could be a bit of both. I think it might be. I'm worried it's a bit of both, actually. I don't want it to be on Pep fully, but I have to think Pep has to take some of the criticism here. What I will say as well, I'm already seeing the someone said to me as well on Twitter, if you don't see this as proof finally that City and Pep is finished, then you're not paying attention. With all due respect, I would take that if we were sat in 13, but it's worth reminding that as fucking irritating as that is, we are still only sat 2 points behind Arsenal currently, and we are still winning games, even if it's one half of the side's really good. Going forward, we're very good. The other half of the side is shit. And I will only accept that Pep is finished if suddenly we're sat in 9th and we're losing these games, and all that kind of stuff. So it's one of those things where I agree that we're not looking great, but I can't sit here yet and personally conclude that we're obviously finished when actually, we're sat. It's really hard to say. I know we're not as good as we used to be. I get that. It's just I don't. We're just a weird side right now. The conclusion, I still believe. I guess the way I feel re-Pep, regardless of Pep, is I don't think these players are. I think Pep has to take some responsibility, but I also don't think some of these players are good enough. And I feel like if Pep had Rodri, and if Pep had a right back who was anywhere close to good enough, if Pep had goal scorers out wide, we'd be top of the league. That's it. That simple. A good right back, Rodri playing, and a goal scoring winger, and we'd be top of the league. Like, that's it. That's how I feel. Like, that simple. And I mean, I guess that's why, like, and I know that sounds like a lot, but it isn't a lot. I actually feel like we've signed a bunch of players, your project players, and Pep should accept some of the responsibility, absolutely. But I guess I don't feel that Pep's ability to manage elite players is gone. I just don't think we have a lot of elite players. I think we've got a couple. Given the best team in the world, he's done. Well, Pep's, I mean, yeah, well, maybe. If you have Kyle Walker in that team, and then, Kyle Walker in that team, and then Rodri back, we already had. Well, even just Kyle Walker changes us massively. Rodri back in that side. That's not much. And at that point, yeah, you've got a crack. It's that's what you'd expect. We've got too many players, in my opinion, that aren't just aren't good enough. They just aren't good enough for a title-winning team. And I think it's very obvious, Like, I mean, I look where it changed. It changed for me when Doku and Nico Gonzalez gone off. I know the Marmouche debate's raging right now, by the way, but I think Pep's sort of send me down on Marmouche right now, but whatever, we'll get onto that later. But it sort of changed for me when Nico Gonzalez and Doku went off, and they are two quality players. And after that, Savinho is so fucking done, man, at City. Like, I think at one point there was a talented player there, but I don't see him coming back from this. I think his form dipped, and I think the summer transfers fucked him. I just don't see him coming back. I do not see him coming back. I mean, for me, Savinho coming on instead of Marmouche, for what it's worth, by the way. Marmouche, I would 10 times rather than Marmouche over Savinho than that. Marmouche clearly isn't chaotic. Let's not be nonsense there, mate. I just can't agree with that. I can't agree with that at all. And maybe there's the AFCON, hanging over Marmouche. That's not a bad shout, George. Maybe it's an element of that. Some super chats. Where's it gone? Puffed says, still very far from where we were before last season. Also, I've got the same beef with Sevilla that Yoda Nunes guy's useless. I don't have beef with Nunes. Can people stop that? Can you all admit I was right, by the way, with Nunes? I said about Nunes is that he's just not good enough for a Premier League title winning side as a starter. And I've always maintained that. And people said I hate Nunes. I'm like, no, I don't. He just has mistakes in him, and he hasn't got that intelligence enough. And I think I've been proving that time and time again. As much as he's improved, it's still there. Look, Nunes is not good enough to start for a title-winning Premier League side. I'm sorry, he just isn't. That doesn't mean he's not a good player. Keep him in the squad as a backup. Everyone thinks I hate Nunes for it. I just don't. I'm just right on that. Like, I don't know how many times I have to be proven right that I am. Like, the mistakes he makes are not the ones of a serious footballer. Nunes is a good footballer. He ain't a serious footballer. And that's not me singling out Nunes here, by the way. I'm not. I'm just replying to the super chat. Like, he's not a serious footballer. I don't think Savinho's a serious footballer currently either. I don't. I just believe I say, but Nunes is his biggest fan. Nunes is not a serious footballer, even not a fullback. He's not better than Delph, by the way. Delph was way more reliable. Look, I actually watched Delph, mate. Delph in that season was way more reliable. He kept the ball. He was smart. He just isn't. Anyway, I'm not going to drag into the Nunes thing. Nunes won't be all right back next season, so it's irrelevant what you think and what I think. He won't be. Next super chat was from Perfect says, a few seasons back, that would have been a Carabao team. I think you're getting a little bit emotional, but maybe it would have been at the treble winning side. It would have been. We've got like the first strength backup side of the treble winning side. I mean, it's not quite true. You've got some quality. Diaz is in there. Donnarumma is a Champions League level winning goalkeeper. Haaland, Phil Foden. I think we're slightly exaggerating there, but yeah, I get the point you're making, mate. The super chat as well from Nigel says, we need to remember we played really well numerous times this season, unlike last season. The side is clearly still work in progress. Then I think that's true. That's what I'm saying. That's where I know where we're at. The thing is, for me, is like I know where we're at in terms of as a side. I think change is inevitable anyway. I think my conclusion, as I said, lots of talent, little spine, major surgery required still. But major surgery is coming. If I think of players that are leaving this summer, almost guaranteed, Bernardo, Kovacic is certainly leaving. One of Ake's definitely leaving this summer. A goalkeeper, two goalkeepers might be leaving this summer. So there's Trafford and Ortega might be leaving. And then I would say Sevill's probably leaving. Maybe even Oscar Bob. 6, 7 players are going to be leaving. Maybe Rico Lewis. Several players are going to be leaving this summer. Am I wrong? So major surgery is going to happen anyway. We're going to bring in a whole bunch of players. So I don't think we can even sit there right now. We all know multiple players are going. So this isn't the set squad. This clearly isn't Manchester City right now for the future. And when you've got a scenario where you're thinking, well, actually, all these players aren't actually going to be here. Thanks for the super chat, by the way, guys. It's massively appreciated. Loads of these players aren't going to be here. We're clearly still massively in transition, and I think that's sort of semi-reassuring for me. But I think also, if we accept that, even if things would go, look, there's going to be a massive overhaul anyway. And Rodri, like, who knows what's going on with Rodri, man? Like, we've got loads of players. Rodri can come back to himself. We're just not a serious side right now. I think we are undergoing major surgery. Like, if you look at people like Semenyo, say Semenyo came in, say Elliot Anderson came in, Vitor Reis will return. There's already 3 very different players that would massively change the side. Rodri's back in the side. Imagine those 4 players there. I think Vitor Reis is serious, by the way. I think he's a serious footballer, Vitor Reis. That's my contribution to that. Imagine you signed a Livramento. I know that's an awful lot. I'm talking hypothetically. If you sign a Livramento, or you sign a Semenyo, or an Elliot Anderson, Rodri suddenly starts playing. Players are making. The team is going to be very, 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 very different. And you can tell that it's almost certain to me that we are not right now. I think Guardiola feels it as well. I guarantee you, Pep's even looking at some of these players and going, they aren't going to be here soon. And look, I don't think some of us should be. Yeah, I feel, I can sense already that Guardiola is not a fan of some of these players. Vitor Reis is doing really well, by the way. He's doing very well on loan at Girona. Yeah, really, really well. He's absolutely coming back next season, 100%. And that's the thing is, like, I guess I know people join this video now to want me to sit here and shout they're all a shambles and a disgrace and all that kind of stuff. And I think their attitude actually did stink in the second half, to an extent. I do think they were passive. I do think they were nowhere near aggressive enough. I do think that you've got to fucking throw yourself at the shots. I do think the fact that they can't keep the composure says an awful lot about them. But I also think it's symptomatic of just who so many of these guys are. Like, I don't think a lot of these players have got a defensive bone in their body. I don't think they have, Like, I look at Núñez is not a natural defender. I started at him because he's a defender. I'm going Diaz, natural defender. Vardial is a natural defender, but he's not like an aggressive, like, in-your-face natural defender, Vardial. Nico Riley's not a natural defender, doing all right. Marco Silva is not a natural defender. Nico Gonzalez can do it, but Foden's not a natural defender. So many of these players aren't naturally good at duels. And then you get to the wingers who are no good at it either. And they're not good at pressing. A lot of these players can't good at pressing. Like, we're a very passive side, an apathetic side. We need a bit of fucking bite in this side, man. Like, I don't think you can blame Diaz for this. I think the team around him is an absolute fucking shit show defensively. I think Diaz was actually pretty good at the start of the season, but we've lost. Do you remember that? How well we defended at one point? Like, what's happened, man? Reijnders is not a natural defender either. Reijnders cannot win a duel to save his life. Like, absolutely fannies on the whole. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way of putting it, Cosmic Baggy. Bunch of pussies, a lot of them. And I think they're very talented, some of these guys. I really do. Loads of talent, no spine. They're not fighters. So, I go back to, players that hopefully will be. Rodri's a fighter. Get Kusanov in that team for me. I don't give a fuck, man. Get him in that team somehow. That guy is a fighter. That guy is a warrior. I want him in the team. It's not complicated. I want to know what Pep says. I'm going to check is there any quotes after the game. It's just very obvious to me what the issues are. They're very, very obvious. Pep's just made a ball joke. He said, "Did you enjoy it, guys? Nice, huh? Me? My God, I lost my hair. My God." We are not a serious side. As I was saying, we are not a serious side. So Pep's just making ball jokes about himself. We really are in our banter here, aren't we? So Pep is just I don't know. What's he off on about? So look. It was a weird game of football. Let's talk about the positives. Phil Foden. Phil Foden, absolutely wonderful. Wonderful goals going forward. Yeah, first half was great. The football was really good. Lovely goal from Tijjani Reijnders as well. Guardiola saw that coming. He called it in the press conference. Got beyond Haaland. Haaland played a lovely through ball. Wonderful finish. More of that. Going forward, we're really good. Doku was a real threat as always. Got his assist. Nearly got an assist for Foden second as well, but obviously Haaland could claim that with a slight flick. Haaland got a goal. Got his 100th goal. I'm incredibly arrogant. Wow, that's interesting. Of all the things I would say, I don't think arrogant's one of them. I think I'm quite an honest person, to be honest, mate. If you want about the Nunes stuff, well, it's just because I'm right, mate, on that one. There's arrogance and there's knowing you're right. But Clive, I don't think I am arrogant at all. In fact, I think one of the things you watch my channel for people for a long time know I'm definitely not. I happily admit when I'm wrong. And I often do. I think I'm wrong all the time, and I think people who are arrogant don't think they're ever wrong, and I often think I'm wrong. But yeah, anyway, back to the actual goals. Haaland got his 100th goal, the quickest to ever do it in the Premier League. Wonderful stuff. He could have had a hat-trick. So unlucky, man. Like the first one where they hit the post, came back out. The header as well, I thought was really, really good forward play. Big, powerful leap. A big, powerful leap, and off the post, unlucky. Thanks, Chaotic Espion, by the way. Cheers. Chaotic, who watches my channel a lot, well, like, I'm definitely not arrogant. I can guarantee you I'm not. I'm just, I think I'm quite assertive on 1 or 2 points I make every now and then, but not arrogant. As Aspie said, 2 wins in a row. Phil looking good. Haaland ton up. Gonna be 6-5 versus Sunderland. I'm going to Sunderland with a mate of mine who's a Sunderland fan. So that should be fun. If you're watching, Michael, you're not. But if you are, you're in for a cracker, I reckon. Well, GCM 718. It's not stubborn, mate. It's just sometimes you know you're right. I think sometimes you just know you're right. Like, I just know I'm right in this one. Like, and I know because look, if I'm wrong, I'll happily eat the humble pie. But I know I'm right on this one. I just it's not stubborn if it's stubborn if you refuse to admit you're wrong. But I don't think I am wrong. So I'll be proven right, and we'll know. Put it this way, on the Nunes thing, and look, I'm not blaming Nunes, but on the best right back in the league, are you happy, TK? Would you be happy when you've got that 10 to 15 game? Say we were winning for the Champions League and the Premier League, would you be happy with that 10 to 15 games run of April and May with big games like the treble season? Would you be happy? Would you be confident with Nunes there? And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Of course you wouldn't, mate. Of course you wouldn't. Who would 100%? I mean that no one would. You'd be mental to trust him. Like, he's proven time and time again that anyway, yeah, but there's a few I wouldn't trust. I don't trust a fair few. I don't trust a fair few of them. I don't trust Guardiola not to make a mistake these days. I think Guardiola's a really talented player, but I don't trust him not to make a mistake. I don't trust the midfield to not give the ball away. I don't trust the wingers to score goals. There's quite a few I don't trust, and not because they're not talented, as I'm saying, because I don't trust they have the mentality, and that's my conclusion of this: talented players, but not necessarily serious players. And it's one of those things where they're going to have to come good or something like that. And some of these players are going to have to really step up. And I feel that we have to be realistic about what we can expect of them. Kenny Throckmorton, member 38 months. Have you changed your username, mate? Because I don't recognise it. But thank you so much, mate. 38 months. Said, our bar as fans is so high based on recent success. The squad is just so consistent. It's company type leader to hold them accountable. Absolutely. I think our company type leader is Rodri, but he's not on the pitch, which is which is frustrating. Cherky's cameo was good, by the way. I absolutely agree with that. I thought it was a really nice cameo. It was a good cameo. He looks talented. What's Guardiola said? Let me try and find some more. So Pep, here we go. Pep said, we will improve because I think the first goal, the second one, the third and fourth, all were in the edge of the box and nobody was there. When we defended, we got so anxious defending the penalty area. That's a really good observation from Guardiola. He's right. That's a composure thing. So he said when we defended, we got anxious, so there's nobody in we defended in the penalty area. That's a good point. So actually, there's such an anxiety to get back and defend that everyone has just lost their minds and everyone's gone into the penalty area, which that is less egregious than no one being back, if that makes sense. Everyone's just gone dumb and followed the ball essentially, and he's got a good point in that. That's a good point. It's not like everyone has got back, but no one's been smart. That's the point, and that's down to instinct and focus. That's a really good point from Guardiola, actually. Because I was looking at it and no one doing the job, but actually everyone has got back. They're all in the penalty area, but no one's thinking they're picking the man up at the edge of the area. So that's the frustrating thing. Someone's got to hold the shape in the positional sense, and no one's doing that. So Guardiola thinks will improve. I mean, look, if he can recognise that logically, I think we probably will get better. I do actually think we'll get better. That's the thing. As much as we're finals intensely frustrating, I do think we will get better. I think you can see the mistakes happening. I think you can fix some of them. I do actually believe that. I don't think these things are like impossible to fix. I think a lot of them are just fucking compose yourself, man. And I do largely think, that we tend to get better in the second half of the season. I do want to know what he sees in Savino right now, because Savino is just looking a mess. He is. He's looking a mess. There's another quote from Guardiola. I know you're going to ask what happened. I don't have an answer. It's the Premier League, right? Football is emotions. All the goals were bad defending on the edge. We went so deep to defend these crosses. We have to occupy the spaces better. But we made incredibly good things against how difficult the team is. Scoring the goals we scored, the quality in the way we defended. But after Erling had a chance to make a 6-3 and a minute later 5-4. When that happens, it's just a question of surviving. Don't ask me how the players don't know either. You need luck, and at the end we take it. Yeah, he's not wrong to an extent. I mean, I think he understands the mistakes are made and we've got to find the composure and so on. But about Phil Foden, he said, I told you last week this season from the beginning he's back, not now for scoring 2 goals. Of course, Phil extraordinary, but not just for the goals, arriving to the box, in far positions, the pace he has, especially the passes. Yeah, absolutely. For the team, changing 7, 8, 9 players and 2 transfer windows is a question of growing, and that will be a good lesson for the future. Yeah, he's not wrong. I said Tijjani, first season. Nico Riley's first season playing in that position. Nunes' first season playing in that position. Nico Riley's first year playing a lot. Kovacic and Rodri, the Ballon d'Or alongside Haaland as the most important player. 1 year and a half we don't have him. We don't have a replacement for Nico in the position. Ryan Shirky's new. Today, last minutes, Ryan Shirky and Bernardo and Nico Riley was key to keeping less chances to see the goal. Last minutes, Ryan was exceptional. I mean, look, he's not wrong with all these things. He's right about all these things, and I truly do believe we will get better. But I think right now, I just don't. One thing I will defend is when everyone goes on about we're shit and we're all this kind of stuff. Like, can we just remember we're not sat, in mid-table. Like, we are talented but wild. We're a psychotic bipolar team. Like, bipolar city, man. That's all we are. Like, we are just clearly very, very talented. Like, the best attackers in the Premier League. Manchester City are the best attackers in the Premier League. But just fucking all over the place defensively. And I think we'll get Champions League football, obviously. We'll be up there. We might do something mental this season as well. But we might do something terrible. I think we're going to be a team of absurd highs and lows. And I agree with Blue Lightsaber. We can't pass away out where we used to be. And I think a lot of the plan there was on, Kovacic being available, on Rodri being available. And I think, look, I maintain, by the way, if you got even just Kovacic fit, we're a much better possession side, because Kovacic is much better possession these days and much fitter than. He'd be better in that possession side than Bernardo and Reijnders would be. Even him. And obviously Rodri. If you got Rodri fit and Kovacic fit, we're strolling these games. And I know you might not like Kovacic, but that's a fact, man. Kovacic is a much better possession-based football than Bernardo and Reijnders right now. So that's the thing, is like we are down centrally, and that's the thing. It's the pressing's fallen off, I agree. I think City need to press better. I think Semenyo would actually be a boost on that front. No, it is a weird one. It's weird. Like, I'm not angry over this. I think I accept it. We're not very serious. We're too mental. And then you look at where we, how we get on. I'll go to the Premier League table. Where's the standings? So we either win. I mean, we win or we lose. We've drawn 1 game this season. We're the only team. Liverpool are even more bipolar than us. Look, they either win or lose, literally. But City we either win, because that's 16 goals conceded, 32 scored. We're just such a mental side. Goal difference, by far the best goal scorers in the league as well. We're just a weird side. Well, we're second with that defence because we're actually quite good, Blue Sky Citizens. And that's the thing. We are clearly a good side in some aspects, but just a really we're the best attacking side in the league, but intensely average to low defensive side. So the net negative is we're second and not first. Like, but we're still second. Like, we need to remind ourselves that before we start to implode and, you know, I don't know, act like we're actually bottom of the table. Like, that we need to remind ourselves we're not bottom of the table. But as much, but everyone goes, we're shit. We're not shit. We're just not excellent. We're a really good side. You can't be a really good side, a shit side, and be second. I'm sorry, shit compared to where we used to be, maybe. But we're not. We're still a good side. Not really good side. We're a good side. We're a good side. I don't think we'll win the league. No, I don't think we will do. I didn't expect us to season either. I said in my season preview, the only chance we've got to win the league is if Rodri is back to his best. If Rodri was back to his best, we will win the league. I guarantee you. If Rodri was back to best, we will play all season. We win the league. I 100% believe that. But he's not. And that is a massive 20-30% drop in this team. Because he's that good. He's that good, Rodri. Yeah, Rodri elevates his whole team another 5 points. And one thing I will say, as much as everyone goes about City being boring, fuck me, man. Like, we are bringing back the Barclays vibes, aren't we, right now? We really are. We really are. So, yeah, it's great fun. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I could waffle about this side for ages, but I don't be too down on it. We are incredibly frustrating to watch, but we'll probably get better. And at least we're scoring goals, you know? And at least we're winning games, just about. Weird. This team's going to change. It's obviously going to change. And I've accepted that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Bye-bye.